Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to unpack the latest news in the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Ashley.
Now, Exxaro and Transnet Freight Rail have entered into a formal service agreement to improve the performance of logistics channels.
This is great news for the South African economy. So this is on the coal front now, Exxaro. We've had two on the manganese front, and they're moving fairly quickly. And you can see that the mining companies are anxious to improve their logistics. Transnet is going all out to make sure that that happens for the good of South Africa's economy. And also at the bigger level, you can see third parties getting involved with agreements with Transnet, where for the first time ever, the monopolistic inheritance of our Transnet is starting to move away, and you're getting the private sector actually getting the rights to use rail as a third party, as a private sector operator, not as the state.
Now, can you tell us about Master Drilling's new technology that promises continuous rock excavation even for narrow reef extraction?
Yes, it was interesting to listen to Master Drilling because the word continuous came up continuously, and that is what we've been striving for a long time, round-the-clock mining, because when we blast, you've got to leave the mine, and then you clear that blasting material, then you come back the next day and start again. When you have this rock cutting, you don't leave. You don't have to leave. I mean, obviously, if the economics were such that you would leave, you would. But you can go on continuously. And you can see that with many of the projects they put up on the line, the word complete came through, which means that some of these projects, from a research and development point of view, are done and dusted, which is very good news. Probably the biggest practical one will come with a platinum group metals mine, where you will have access to a very narrow reef. Now, those narrow reefs are very hard to mine because there's too much dilution. Dilution means you've got too much waste material. So instead of getting the good stuff, you're getting the bad stuff, and a lot of it. With this new system, you'll be able to cut the reef itself, and which means that the dilution side of it starts to fall away. This could be revolutionary for South Africa, for us to get to very narrow reefs that we couldn't get to before without having a massive waste factor. So some very encouraging moves, and also all you hear about is artificial intelligence and remote control and robotics. So the world is changing fast.
And lastly, great news for Harmony this result season.
Yeah, it was just record after record. I mean, everything they were speaking about was a record. The dividend was a record. So it's part of a very well-run operational setup that they've got at Harmony Gold, benefiting from the high gold price as well, and using that to also get into copper very, very solidly. So there are ups and downs in gold. I don't think that the down is going to come too soon, so they can keep working there. You saw phenomenal performance from some of the deep-level gold mines. So when the great, maybe gold cycle starts to dip, they will have that copper, which they have been looking to have for a long time, Papua and New Guinea. That's also still on the horizon, but 3 deals taking place in Australia, which will move them well into the copper scene, also at deep level. So you can see that when a lot of the mining companies of the world, when they have to move from open cast to underground, they get a fright, whereas South Africans don't. So there's an opportunity for us to take over those deeper mines and use the skills that we've got even outside the country to get the best deal, and in this case out of copper.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
Thanks, Ashley.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.